続ける一人の男が現れた。その男の名は
ナスビです。
お笑い芸人ナスビ。
Susumu Denpan Shonen, which aired on the Nippon TV network from 1998 to 2002, is well known for the traumatic experiences and severe circumstances that each season's participants, typically struggling desperate comedians, have to endure. Every Susumu season, Denpa Shonen had a unique, frequently evil attitude that frequently resembled a survival film gone tragically wrong. In one season, 2 participants had to build a raft and spend 4 months attempting to get off an island, while in another, other contenders had to hitchhike from South Africa to Norway. One season, a participant was confined to a room with a TV so he could watch every game of his preferred baseball club. He would get food if his team won, but if they lost, the electricity would be turned off in the room, and a losing streak meant famine. Producers initially presented the program as a special experiment that may or might not be on television, leading Nasubi to assume that he was recording his daily activities for later analysis, when in fact his most private moments were aired for the entire world to observe and make fun of. This is the story of Nasubi. The most notorious season of this show was Nasubi's. Nasubi was a comedian from Fukushima. Aspiring comedian Nasubi was given the difficult task of remaining unclothed and isolated from the outside world in a small flat with only piles and piles of magazines until he won a combined $1 million, roughly $10,000 US in total, from consistently entering different magazine sweepstakes. His main source of support was the money he received from these mail-in contests. Producers first presented the program as an unusual experiment that may or might not run on television, leading Nasubi to assume that he was self-recording his daily activities for future evaluation, when in fact his most private moments were aired for the world to observe and mock.
当たりくじを引き当てたばっかりに、この男の運命はこの後大きく変わることになる。そして車が止まった。ナスビは一体どこに連れて行かれるのだろうか。どうやら着いたようだ。ナスビが見たものは部屋。この殺風景な部屋の中にあるものはちゃぶ台、新しいハガキの山、ボールペン、電話、ラジオ、座布団、台所にはガスコンロ一つ、そしてトイレ、シャワー付きお風呂、エアコン、さらに全部最新号のたくさんの雑誌。すると
なんと見て。はいはい、全部。マジパンツのですか。うわ、いいんですか。嘘。それなんか違くないですか、ちょっと。はい。なんですか。なんでですか。うわ、これはね。いや、やばいっすよ、本当に。何を企んでるんですか、これは。わかんないか。ハガキと雑誌はわからなくもないです。だろ。検証がどうのこうのとかってなんかありそうですけど。まず何が欲しい。服が欲しい。検証で当てろってことなんですか。そんな。それは何のためにですか。
He had nothing to do in the beginning, including nothing to wear, was shut off from the outside contact and broadcasting, and had nothing to do but read magazines looking for sweepstakes registration forms. He set the Guinness World Record for the longest time survived on competition winnings, after working for 335 days to attain his goal. Except for necessities, Komatsu's lived in front of the camera with only belongings he won in the contest, such as power heating and running water, as well as the mountain of postcards and publications needed to join the giveaway. When Nasubi was standing on camera, an aubergine cartoon image covered his genitalia. The moniker Nasubi, which means eggplant in Japanese, was given to him as a result of his 30 cm long face being compared to a Japanese eggplant and the filmmakers needing to conceal his genitalia for television viewers by animating an eggplant. Hamatsu thought that the performance was being videotaped and he would be replayed when the footage was compiled. The experiment was really being live streamed, with the video being edited and re-aired every week, complete with sound effects present at regular intervals. Employed using modern technology, he may be shown live on television, all the while using a aubergine to conceal his genitalia.
失禁しちゃいそう。
この時が来ましたついに。うまそう。うまい。
もう死んでも構わない。
そして
またもや当選すか。
今度は何が当たったんだ？
カンボス大根ゴンジリっていう漬物スナック。
うまい。
ご飯にバッチリチリチリベリーマッチするぞなもし。
さらにまた出た。
酒の長骨スナック。
ナスビ一瞬にしておかず充実。
He started off getting no meals at all, simple sipping water and dropping weight. He eventually received a prize from his sweepstake entries, some sweet beverages. He then won a bag of rice but was forced to eat it uncooked because he had not won any pots or containers to heat it in. Eventually came up with a makeshift heating container out of a discarded bag and was able to boil the rice by setting it near to the lighted stove. However, after running out of rice, canned and kibble dog food took over as his food sources for a while. He carried the plush animal he had won in a contest about. It was the only type of engagement he had, therefore he relied on chats with it as his sensei. He never won anything to cut his growing facial hair or fingernails, and the only prizes he ever received were a pair of female pants that were too tiny for him to use. A bicycle and a movie tickets were among the other prizes he received but was unable to use, since doing so would have forced him to leave his flat. He eventually turned the latter into a stationary cycle. When he won a television, he was initially unable to use it since the apartment did not have a cable or antenna hookup. The producers did this on purpose for the fear that he would realize he was already watching TV. The PlayStation game Densha Go, together with the controller required to play it, would then be his to take home. As a result of the show's growing popularity among Japanese viewers at this point, Hamatsu was unaware that photographers, fans, and even the press had gathered outside his residence. Producers were thus compelled to find a new place that was far from the original location. When he opened his eyes after being relocated blindfolded, he found a comparable living area, all of his previously won goods. When he inquired about whether the challenge had been successfully achieved, he was instead informed that the change of space was for his new location to bring in more luck as a result.
プロデューサーはナスビに毛布をかけて外に連れ出そうとする。
うわ外の空気だ。5ヶ月ぶりに吸った外の空気、嬉しいな。
そして
車やった、動いてる動いてる。
車で移動。
5ヶ月ぶりに乗り物だ。やった。
しかし2時間経過。
どこ
5時間経過。
ちょっと長すぎるよな、マジでな。
ここでナスビは意外なことを口走った。
例えばアフリカ大陸残ってんじゃねえの？
アフリカ大陸？
それはまずいでしょ。一人でアフリカ大陸縦断しちゃいくはまずいでしょ。
禁書生活に入った後スタートしたパン屋のことを知らないナスビ、一人不安になる。
このまま起きてても不安で心が曇りそうだから寝ちゃおう。でこの大音響じゃ眠たくても寝れねえ。
寝た。そして到着。ナスビが連れてこられたのは。
映していいよ。いいっすか。
からどう見ても5ヶ月間慣れ親しんでいるいつもの風景。
これはまあ全部揃ってるというか引っ越しっていうことなんですか？
先日一部マスコミにナスビの住所がバレてしまった。構成を大前提とするこの電波少年的検証生活は引っ越しすることにしたのだ。しかしこの企画が放送されていることを知らないナスビに
He continued to write sweepstakes entries, and the first furniture he bought for his new area was a big chair and desk. He was, however, transferred to yet another location following a lengthy run of bad luck with his entries. He later won a VCR, which he would use with 2 prior tapes he had won. He would eventually win a genuine PlayStation, making his TV set functional in his new location. He would eventually force himself to quit playing the game after playing it non-stop for several days in order to maintain entries.
それは8ヶ月前のこと。
電車でコントローラー好き。
6ヶ月前。
おー、来たよ。とりあえずまずや
一心不乱で電車2号に熱中するナスビ。電車で3日目に突入。
金プレステでございます。
Entering raffles, gathering donations, and achieving his goals. He drew closer to his objective after winning a 4-vehicle tire valued around 8,400, which he ultimately attained with a bag of rice 335 days following the commencement. He was given his clothing back after learning of his triumph and then put in a blindfold and brought to a secret location.
ゴールを祝いクラッカーで祝福。
100万になったってことですか？え？ちょっと待ってよ。ああ、やった。11ヶ月と1日前に抜かされた私の服ですね。
Hamatsu gladly continued on in his belief that he would receive a great reward for his year of labor. He took off his blindfold and discovered himself in South Korea. He received a day pass to a theme park where he would eat Korean food, experience the park's many rides, but once he was done, he was transported to a different flat. He was challenged to enter the contest once more, requesting to remove his clothing. He consented despite the producer's assurances that he was under no obligation to do it. Sufficient this time around money to pay for a journey home on Japan Airlines. However, after joining contests for many weeks, Hamatsu soon achieved his aim. Subsequently, it was updated numerous times, first to allow for the purchases of the first class tickets and later a business class ticket. When he had enough money to travel back to Japan, he was dressed, blindfolded, and brought to another flat in Japan. He looked around as the blindfold was taken off and immediately pulled his clothes off since he assumed the challenge would continue. The walls of the flat crumbled, revealing him to be in a TV studio with a sizable live audience. This perplexed Hamatsu since he believed that the show had not yet been televised. His diaries detailed his experiences of being isolated from the outside world, were bestsellers in Japan throughout the roughly 15-month ordeal. The TV program surpassed all previous records with 70 million viewers each Sunday night. For the first 6 months after his trauma, he said that wearing clothes made him feel hot and sticky, and he had trouble speaking for extended periods of time. In April 2022, Hamatsu used his own personal experiences with self-isolation to try and persuade people to comply with the self-disciplined stay-at-home order following the initial COVID-19 breakouts. In conclusion, this is the most evil live stream of all time. These producers that made and oversaw this live stream and the absolute horrible living conditions of Nasubi is absolutely appalling, and there has been no outcry against these producers. I don't know if they're still working on Japanese TV today, but I'm glad that Nasubi is doing good in the world, even though he's still having some repercussions to this day because of his experience. But thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and catch you guys in the next video.